Dear friends, Prime Ministers, members of the Executive Committee, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Dear friends, never has it been more important to stand up for the values which united us for freedom and human dignity, for democracy and responsible government, and for human rights for all persons in all countries. It is significant that we meet today in the city of Marrakesh, which stands for the cultural and spiritual exchange over centuries. We greatly appreciate the role of the Kingdom of Morocco as a bridge to the Arab world. Never before has its role of our Moroccan, my friends, been more valuable and crucial than in this time of crisis. We, the partners in the Central Democratic International, from 4 continents, share important challenges. We face 4 common threats: the aspirations of the left-wing populism to invade our societies, attack our individual liberties, and threaten the rule of law and economic stability; the massive migration which tests the stability of our free societies and attempts to create a new world order and shift the balance of power; and drug trafficking and terrorism networks, money laundering and international crime already constitute a very high risk for our internal security and threatens our democracies. In Latin America, a left-wing political coalition grouped around the Sao Paulo Forum and the Puebla Group, perfectly articulated, which currently counts with 10 presidents in office, strives to take control of our entire region from the Rio Grande down to the Patagonia. This neo-socialist alliance has a strong totalitarian wing with dictators such as Nicolás Maduro, Miguel Díaz-Canel, and Daniel Ortega. They have established regimes which have appropriated the state and public resources for their own followers and accomplices. They prosecute all opposition without mercy. There is another moderated wing represented by Andrés Manuel López Obrador of Mexico and Lula da Silva from Brazil. Under left regimes, democracy and the rule of law are dying sometimes fast and sometimes slowly. Still, in countries like mine, Colombia, we still have an independent judges. We witness an offensive against the principle and values of Western Christian civilization, whose objective is to destroy the foundation of democracy through attacks on the family, life, and homeland. This is what some authors have called the cultural war or cultural battle. We are all witnesses of how this cultural warfare has infected the social media. Massive migration challenges the stability of our societies. They not only affect the receiving countries, but also the home countries and the countries of transit. We must look for a new design for economic and supportive development in the countries of origin and new models of effective integration in the new host countries. Autocratic regimes with imperial ambitions and their satellites attempt to create a new world order and shift the balance of power radically. All of us are set on a stormy course. The Russian government coupled the ruthless attack on Ukraine couples with a complete denunciation of international law and a rule-based order. Fortunately, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization has effectively stood up this lethal threat and operates as the anchor of security in a turbulent setting as the final guarantor of our freedoms. We must also confront the alliance between Russia, Iran, and their satellites in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. This unholy alliance, like an octopus, has many arms, from the Polisario Front to the rebels in Yemen. And the fourth threat is the enormous expansion of the drug trafficking, as can be seen in Colombia and Mexico, where the cartels are wreaking havoc and in Venezuela, where Nicolás Maduro directs the so-called cartel of the suns, for which North America, the U.S. agencies, offer $50 million for his capture. In my country, Colombia, President Gustavo Petro has become the mainly ally of drug trafficking by promoting the legalization of drugs in important international settings, such as the UN General Assembly, and by relying on the support by groups making profits from the cultivation of coca and other drugs. The fatal consequences is that Colombia today marks a historical record of nearly 350,000 hectares of coca crops and cocaine production, reporting the highest figures ever recorded. Very high levels of cocaine produced and trafficked to international markets endanger the health and safety of millions of people and contribute to a global health crisis. This is confirmed by the most recent annual threat report of the United States Intelligence Directorate, published on March 12th of this year, which also warns about the serious scope they have and the negative impact among their own population. The report maintains the transitional criminal organization based in Mexico are the main producers and suppliers of illicit drugs to the United States, Europe, including fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamine, and cocaine, which arrives from Colombia and now also unfortunately, from Ecuador. The State Department warns not to let our guard down. They said that the country is on the red list in the terms of fight against drug trafficking, and with these record levels of coca growth is not the time to reduce the use of tools such as eradication. This is rather a time to make the most of all available anti-drug tools. Faced with these threats, I would like to present three proposals. The first is the international articulation of the democratic sectors to jointly confront the Sao Paulo Forum and the Puebla Group. We must become more sensitive to the threat of a broad alliance against the rule of law, democracy, and human dignity. With our partners, we will stand up against these new axes of evil. We must also reach out to all countries of the global south and help them to escape the grip and pitfalls of left populism. The second is an intensive training program for new leaders so that the new political generations resist and defeat the Marxist cultural war. We must support the agenda of all our parties as an agenda for our common values. And the third is the creation of an electoral observatory capable of preventing and detecting the new forms of fraud that the members of the Sao Paulo Forum have developed. In this sense, as an international observer, I can assure you that the fraud has not only been committed in Nicaragua, Venezuela, Bolivia, but also in Peru and Colombia in our region. But it has been difficult to detect due to the sophisticated new mechanisms that include the manipulations of vote totaling software. My friends, the dictators in Caracas, in Moscow, in Tehran, and their associates believe that our commitment to freedom, democracy, and human rights is weakness. We shall teach them that these values are our strength. Thank you very much.